Hello folks, today we're going to get into some shadow integration with the Angelic Realm. This has been heavy on my consciousness all today, and really over the last few weeks it seems to have been the theme. And I feel like I haven't been on live in forever. I've been so exhausted because I've been working with so many of you in a one-on-one capacity before I get ready to shut my sessions down for the summer. So I'm excited that I have the energy to be on here today with this very, very, very powerful transmission. So a core foundation in shadow work, guys, is recognizing that you are the source for everything that you experience. That's one. Two, everything is only ever happening inside of Source's consciousness, inside of your consciousness. So essentially, you are only experiencing reflections of your own state of consciousness and your vibration. Now, we're going to put this in terms of evil, dark, demonic beings, because that is the thing that people are really stirred up with fear. And what the Angelic Realm is saying is, if everything is energy, can energy ever be harmed? Can energy ever be trapped? Can energy ever be threatened? And so the implanted fears and beliefs around dark beings essentially is that they've painted these images that make themselves appear scarier than what they really are. If you are energy and I am energy and everything is energy, even whatever we are physically presenting, or we'll say these beings who are more etheric, are energetically presenting themselves as, is simply an arrangement of energy. So the shadow integration, full total shadow integration, happens when you recognize that no matter what an energy, entity, or being is presenting as is only ever simply energy. That full integration takes place when that becomes your core knowingness. Not even a belief, right? Beliefs are, you believe something, but knowing is ultimately where you want to be. A dark being who's simply using this term dark, the angelics want to articulate that this doesn't mean higher or lower in their eyes or in Source's eyes, because again, everything is a part of Source. Everything is happening within Source. It simply means vibrating in what we call a lower frequency spectrum. But those are all experiences happening within Source. And I think I shared this either last week or the week before. Source has a desire to know itself fully because it is infinite potentiality and possibility. These possibilities and potentialities also include the lower vibrational spectrum. So a being who is experiencing a lower state of consciousness, or what we call dark or evil or something like that, is still Source having that experience of itself, as not remembering itself as the full Source. So no, this doesn't mean that Source in and of itself is evil or dark or negative, but for the experience or the potentiality to experience itself in that state of consciousness, we'll just say fallen consciousness, that is all still Source having that experience. So let's say you come into contact with, we'll just say someone who has a low vibration. What if you could start taking a step back and you simply say, this is an aspect of Source who is experiencing themselves in a low vibration? Or if you were, some of you do shadow work with lower entities. What makes you a very power shadow worker is when you recognize that this is simply an entity who is experiencing a level of consciousness within the game of Source, which is not threatening to me. So ultimately, when you are in your I am state of power and awareness as yourself as Source, and all other expressions as experiences within Source, there is never any threat or harm. That is your ultimate state of protection. Because as soon as you see through any illusion, if you were to see something, let's just say dark, like, you really could get to a point where you go, well, that is an interesting way to be energetically presenting yourself, because everything is simply energy. There's actually nothing to fear. So the culture around darkness, and even in the spiritual community, a lot of people not wanting to talk about lower vibrating beings and that type of thing, that culture, the mystery around it, the fear is what perpetuates the illusion of separation. It's simply high vibrational experiences, low vibrational experiences, all happening within source. And when you know that, you collapse this other shadow self back into your source self. And now you aren't playing into the illusion that darkness holds more power. So this is what the angelics want to talk about as well. The biggest lie and illusion in the Earth game simulation is that darkness is more powerful because it is dark. Or that evil is more powerful because it is evil. And it's actually the polarity of the truth, which is why they've gone such great lengths to have you believe that they are more powerful, because they're actually not. Love is the highest frequency. Love is the highest vibration. When you are in this frequency of love and light and this unconditional love for all experiences, even one who is experiencing themselves in a state of fallen consciousness, you hold the ultimate shield. You hold the ultimate state of protection, because you aren't believing that there is something that is existing outside of yourself or outside of source. And what will start to happen is, it won't even be a thought in your consciousness that something is attacking me. And Source has been speaking about this recently, if you've caught some former transmissions, with there's no such thing as an attack. There are only vibrational matches. There's only a mirror showing you a frequency within yourself that is unhealed when it comes to love. Because when you are operating in this love frequency, I love being alive, I love Earth, I love the game of life, I love the game of creation, I love this free will that Source has granted that allows this vastness of experiences, that's like an irritant to a lower vibrating being, right? They literally can't stand that light. So I'm seeing this as, think about if you were laying in a dark room and you're comfortable, you're cozy, the curtains are sort of closed, there's no light coming in, and then, I don't know, mom walks in and your alarm clock goes off, and then she opens the curtains and the blinds, all this light floods in, and you're annoyed, you're irritated. So what do people usually do? They put the covers over their head or something like that because the light is so irritating. That's what the frequency of love does. It literally sends these beings running off, because it's not a vibrational match. It's not an energetic match. So let's sort of bring this down to earth, making it practical. Let's just ground it. Because fear, the angelics are coming through with some compassion and saying, dear ones, fear is a normal part of the human experience, but you must understand that the fear is simply a signal. And the fear signal is Source telling you this is a lie, or this is a untruth. This is not the absolute truth of who and what you are. So learn to use your fear as a tool. When you're consuming certain information, when you're afraid that you may be attacked or that something is infiltrating you, you say, okay, what is this fear showing me? This fear is showing me that I'm believing in something that is an untruth. Source, can you help me see what this untruth is? And then you illuminate that fear and instantaneously collapse all distortion back into love. Someone says, how do I get to 5D? The fifth dimension is simply unconditional love. That is what we are talking about. The unconditional acceptance of all that is. That includes negative emotions, positive emotions, what we perceive to be higher beings, what we perceive to be lower beings. It's the collapsing, the neutralization of all as simply experiences within the exploration of consciousness. That's what Source is doing through us, experiencing and exploring and experimenting within its own consciousness. When you accept all of those possibilities, all of those expressions, all of those scenarios, all of those different, expressions, that is unconditional love. That is where Source vibrates. Total acceptance. So when you're feeling this fear and perhaps you're believing yourself to be attacked, or you're feeling like you don't have control, you simply say, how can I shift into a frequency of love, knowing that that is going to transmute anything that I have perhaps unknowingly invited and welcomed into my experience. Something else also takes place when you are in the victim frequency. This is another sort of tool of the dark, we'll say. They love to get beings to believe that they are victims and that they don't have any power, because when you believe that you don't hold any personal power, you just give it away. But as soon as you say, I understand I attracted this. I understand this is a reflection of me. I accept this. I accept that I have welcomed or invited this frequency in with perhaps a belief or a frequency or a program that I was operating on. You can also collapse that program in that moment, because you're saying, hey, I'm Source. I'm the creator. I created that. And if I created it, it holds no power over me. Instantaneously, game over. And then they go, oh, they have remembered that they are Source. There is no frequency for me to feed off of any longer. Not a food source. Can't exist in their field. All of this, the angelics are calling this shadow integration, because you are integrating the part of yourself that you have feared. Because you want to start expanding into the Source perspective. Source isn't afraid of darkness. This is also coming from a core religious template I'm seeing, a core belief in the devil. So some of you are experiencing spirituality. You consider yourself to be spiritual, but the core belief in a devil or an evil power is actually the core program that is running. And the angelics are coming in and they're saying there is no devil outside of the one that you create with your I am Source consciousness. If you say there's a devil and I am always working in opposition of darkness or a source of evil, that core program will always be attracting to you on some level. This is a belief that we have to collapse, because the concept or idea of a devil is in exact polarity to God's Source. If God's Source is everything, even if there were a devil, it would just simply be a expression within Source that Source is experiencing of itself in that fallen level of consciousness. There is no true source of external evil that God's Source, creator, all that is fighting against. That makes no sense. It is a lie. It is a program. It is an illusion. And we are doing some subconscious work here to remove that from your programming right now. And let's just let that really sit in. There's nothing outside of Source. It makes no sense that Source is fighting something outside of itself. Source is allowing something to exist because of our free will. And free will is actually Source's unconditional love for its creation. It's essentially saying, no matter how dark, no matter how low we go, I will allow those experiences if you so wish and choose, because I know that I am the end all be all. It's all always going to circle and cycle back into me, back into the supreme state of consciousness, which is love. That's why Source allows these experiences, because we understand that many of you are not fully understanding why certain experiences are here within the earth reality, why they are allowed, and you can't wrap your mind around why God would allow evil. The allowance of evil is actually God's unconditional love for its own creation, to have the experiences that will always circle back into source. So, in understanding all of this, you make peace with whatever state of consciousness any being is experiencing, but you make peace with this from a place of power. You make peace with this from a place of sovereignty. You make peace with this from a place of respect for creation experiencing itself. Now you are impenetrable. You are there's no possible way to infiltrate you and your energy, because you are so aligned with Christ consciousness. That's just a frequency of supreme love, that any and all darkness simply bounces off of you. Someone asked me recently, like, do you ever get attacked? And I said, no, I actually never get attacked. Because my undeniable belief in source overpowers any, even if I were to have a temporary feeling of fear, I know that there's only source. That is my ultimate protection, knowing that there is only source, knowing that there is only love. Everything else is just an experience. And you can begin to reclaim that for yourself right now. So let me get caught up with some comments, guys. I know I've been on a bit of a rant here. Can you please elaborate on what it means to circle back into source? There is only one outcome. There is only one eternal, infinite outcome. And source is bringing in all this energy, which is why I'm smiling right now. It's love. This ultimate end game, so to speak, is that you are source. And no matter how long you want to pretend that you are not via your free will, how long you want to experience lower vibrational frequencies, doesn't matter. You will always be called home into yourself as source, which is love. And love is the experience of accepting all of oneself, all simultaneous expressions of self in the present moment of now. So source is in a supreme state of love because it is in love with its creation, every aspect of its creation. It doesn't judge any aspect of it. It fully accepts it. It accepts pain the same way it accepts beauty. It accepts joy the same way it accepts sadness. In understanding that the duality allows for the true knowingness of what love is. It's like if you were in a room that was full of light, how would you know that you were the light? This is why source has created the experience of darkness out of itself, because it serves as a reference point to fully and truly know itself as the light. This is where your supreme unconditional acceptance and love for darkness will make you invincible, because you understand the role that it's playing for your highest experience of itself. One of the first things I realized when I was reabsorbed back into source consciousness was, and I remember these words coming out of my mouth like it was yesterday, I could never have fully known myself in this moment as the light had I not been presented with darkness. The total full realization of the role that darkness had played to allow me to have this supreme moment of being reabsorbed back into source. And for your soul, that is pure ecstasy. It is pure joy. It's like stumbling across hidden treasure that you never thought existed. To remember who you are as source, that any and all illusions or distortions that you have experienced literally were never true or real. That's what it feels like to come back home into source. So this circling back into source means source is aware and already knows that that is what your soul is in store for. So there's no worry. It will happen when it's, even if it takes a trillion years in human time, if it takes a trillion years for you to circle through creation to get back to this realization that you are source, it doesn't matter. But that is the end game. That is the end result. So I hope that helps you. And let me just get caught up. Chris, hi, such a beautiful soul. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you for tuning in. I'm currently experiencing a cycle of financial problems. How can I bring another energy into my life to assist with this? Seeing your worth and your wealth and your value beyond your current financial circumstances. This holographic matrix reality, how it's sort of been constructed, is to get you to believe that these experiences define who you are as a soul. You can have $0 in the bank, guys, and you can still be in a frequency of wealth. You can be in a frequency of self-love, which would make you a vibrational match to your highest timeline experience of money. So what's coming through specifically for you right now is you need to forget the money for a little bit. Don't even try to focus on it. Don't try to do money affirmations, all of it. All of that is just triggering, right, the reality that you don't currently have it. Make your life about love every single day. How can I experience more love? How can I experience more love outside of my financial situation? And you will begin to harmonize yourself with the frequency of money. None of us really want money. Money just represents experiences that we want access to. And I want you to really think about this. When you think about the reasons as to why you want money, you really want experiences of love. You want to be comfortable. You want to be free. You want to go beautiful places. You want to feel good about yourself. All of that is just love. But you can tap into that emotional state of love right now before the financial picture changes. But you have to be willing to see yourself beyond your financial situation. It's a soul ascension mastery lesson. Can you know who you fully are without a material representation? So focus on love is what I'm hearing. Really, you can use love as the ultimate transformer of anything that you are experiencing. Truly. Love is the highest technology. That's why Source has been saying that. How would you suggest one practice love, especially if a person has been in a place of apathy? Love is, you have to fall in love with creation itself. The unconditionalness of it. Meaning, no matter what I'm currently experiencing, I am in love with the fact that I am experiencing. That is the true hack. And in love with whatever other people are experiencing, knowing that from the highest soul perspective, they are expanding, they are learning something, they are growing. It's all value. To the soul, there is no such thing as good or bad. It's just simply everything serves me. The good serves me and the bad serves me. That's what that energy of neutrality is. So if you're wanting to invite more love into your life, fall in love with your life. The fact that you are alive, the fact that you exist, the fact that you can experience emotions, the fact that you can experience a sad day, a happy day, a positive moment, a negative moment, the fact that you are experiencing. Now you are in an unconditional state of love. But if that seems like ungrounded, You can simply be in love with yourself. Find things about yourself that you recognize as positive qualities and hold those as your focal point, right? People are so busy on like focusing on their flaws. Focus on the things about yourself that you like, and it will gradually expand into love. You have to like yourself before you can love yourself. It's like crawling before you walk. And also what the angelic realm is saying here, guys, is love is something we have to practice because we're not really taught what love is. You have to practice it. You have to practice allowing yourself to give your own self-love beyond your circumstances. So what most people are doing is they're going, well, I don't have any money in the bank. Why would I be worthy of feeling good right now? Essentially what you're doing is you're saying, I am unworthy to give myself love in this moment based on a condition that I believe that has not been met. You're being conditional with yourself. So before you can practice being unconditional with other people, you would first have to understand what it means to be conditional in your relationship with yourself. So I have a bit of a mantra I can share with you guys, something I used to say all the time, which is, in my eyes, I can do no wrong. Meaning, maybe I do something really fucked up, and maybe today I'm somebody's best friend. I'm going to give myself the grace to accept myself in all of my expressions. I can do no wrong in my eyes. What that will grow into is nobody else can do any wrong in your eyes. So now you're vibrating at the frequency of source. Not that you don't set boundaries with people, not that you don't recognize things that are inappropriate and not inappropriate, but you simply recognize that all expressions are worthy of love. This fifth dimensional reality of Earth that we're accelerating into is all about being unconditional. Can I accept myself when I'm in pain? Or am I beating down on myself because I believe I should be experiencing a higher emotion, which just further, creates this loop, this loop that you can't get out of? How can I accept myself in all of my other selves as we journey through consciousness? They are all just experiences within consciousness. And we have to make peace with that it's all okay. Now you are free. Hi, Melissa. I don't know if you're still here, but hi, hun. Let's see. So happy this conversation is happening. Another thing with love is the angelics are bringing through body image, that this is where a lot of people are getting stuck when it comes to flaws, physical flaws. Meaning, well, if I'm at this weight, or if I perceive that I'm unattractive or other people don't find me attractive, I don't believe that I'm worthy of giving and receiving love within my own relationship with self. And you really want to start to think about this as if you were dealing with a child and they weren't seeing the beauty in themselves and the best within themselves, you would still naturally give them love or want to allow them to feel safe in love. You have to learn how to do that with yourself. There are going to be days where you look like shit. There are going to be days where you feel like shit. There are going to be times in your life where you gain weight, where you lose weight. These are all a part of the earth experiences, but it doesn't matter what's shifting or changing in the physical. It's all about your ability to unconditionally love yourself. And the angelic realm is dropping in that this is what the purpose of aging in the Earth School simulation is really for. The experience of aging or deteriorating. It is an opportunity for one to experience the unconditional love and acceptance of themselves in all states. You want to start practicing this now. I fully love and accept myself. What humans believe is that if we don't meet a certain criteria or expectation, other people will not love us. When what's actually true is that when we fully love and accept ourselves, we will create the reflection or the mirror who will also love us. it is 100% possible and available for you to manifest a reflection who loves you exactly as you are, if you love you exactly as you are. It's not about trying to be something, trying to do something, to manipulate someone into giving you love. Fall in love with yourself. Everything that you come with. Hey, this is what it is and I love it. That frequency is the frequency of your ultimate soulmate reflection. Also in friendships. This is why, if you're struggling with attracting a partner, or struggling with calling in your soul tribe or people you feel like fully love you and accept you, typically what's happening is you haven't reached that place within yourself. So you can't attract that mirror, that reflection, if you aren't giving yourself the love that essentially you want these people to give you. It all is being generated from your own relationship to yourself. You got to be willing to drown out the sound and the noise of the programming. This programming that says, I am not good enough. I will never be good enough. I am not worthy to have love. I am not worthy to experience love. I am not good enough to experience love. That is the biggest lie, and that is the biggest illusion. And this is all a part of shadow integration. 100%. And falling in love with yourself is not falling in love with your physical human. That can be a part of it, of course, but it's falling in love with the energy of your soul. The way the energy of your soul is expressed and shared. Loving to be you. You really, really want to get to this place where you love being you so much to the point that you wouldn't change a thing. You wouldn't try to be anything else because you are so appreciative of this opportunity for your soul to be expressed in this unique version that is you. That is when you have arrived in this temple of self-love, total acceptance. I truly love who I am. I love what I'm about. I love my integrity. I love my gifts and skills. I love the way I've moved through some of these challenges. Start to speak to yourself in this way now. Point out things about yourself that you like. Express them verbally so you can hear them coming from your own mouth. You can hear the frequency of your soul reaffirming to you that you are good, that you are amazing, that you are worthy, that you do have amazing qualities. This is also what makes you very magnetic. This is why we're naturally very attracted to people who seem to be confident or really self-assured or into themselves. Because it's like, wow, I actually would love to experience that. Like, what's the secret? You will be a walking magnet because you're operating in love for yourself first before the conditions of your reality, right? Like if we stripped everything down, no money in the bank, no car, whatever these things are, no job, but you were still in love with yourself, you would experience peace, and all of those things will come rushing into your reality again at record speed. So start asking yourself, who am I without stuff? Who am I without stuff? If you already know you have your sense of value and worth is attached to things that you perceive yourself to have manifested or not. This could be a relationship, a particular job or title or amount of money or where you live or what car you drive. If those things are defining at any moment truly how you feel about yourself, that's attachment. And that is living a very fragile life, because at any point, one of those things can drop out and you are going to be in an emotional state of suffering. Who you are and what you are is independent of what you create. If you are the creator and everything else is just your creation, You don't have to be attached to it, because your power never lied in the creation. Your power was always that you were the creator. True freedom. All right, let's see what else we have here. I'm trying to find like some good questions. Getting caught up. I have one last thing I'm going to share on shadow integration, which is everything is your own higher self, aka source in disguise. The narcissist that you're dealing with, the horrible boss, the toxic partner in the relationship. It's all source pretending to be something so you can come home into the realization that everything is you and was you the entire time. It is the biggest cosmic joke. It is the biggest cosmic joke ever that you are not source. And so all of these reflections are just triggering you to go deeper, to hit that rock bottom. Because typically when we hit a rock bottom and our heart is cracked wide open, you know where we tend to go? To God and to source. And we open ourselves up to the love that was already there. And we go, wow, I was trying to get all these things from all these people and these places and these reflections when I was the source of all of this power from the beginning. The ultimate shadow mastery tool, and it's all circling back to this, is love. Even when you are having a challenging experience with some of your reflections, and you will, truly you will, finding the love within your heart to say, I understand. Maybe I don't fully understand the lesson, but I understand that this is a role that is being played ultimately to serve me. So it's not a negative thing. It's not a bad thing. If you can walk through life knowing that everything is truly in service to you, you are no longer a slave to your reality. You are the master of your reality. And imagine how pissed off a lower level consciousness or entity is going to feel when you say, thank you for serving me. You are in service to me. You know how irritating that is? To be, I guess in those states of consciousness, believing that you're doing something to someone, and then this being fucking tells you, thank you for serving me. Irritating. Totally will just run off away from you because that's very irritating. They just keep emphasizing the irritation on that. So look, it's all fun. Learn to laugh, learn to love it, learn to accept it, and enjoy the ride. Because you know what? There's really nothing else for your soul to do. This is why we create these dramatic, chaotic scenarios, and we make up all these stories, and we experience all these realities, because Source quite literally has nothing else to do. And Source is coming through right now and saying, we were bored. We were bored. We were just there. We were floating. We were energy. We were everything, but we were bored. And we wanted to experience ourselves, the possibility of it, the expansion of it. And that is why we exist, because we love creation. And when you begin to love creation as we do, you will activate your crystalline, angelic DNA. You just simply love it all. That's all. That's all. That's all, right? That's all. It's all just all. And when you just love it and you're like, okay, I have nothing else to do as a soul. Let's create something else. And one more thing is, I know there's so much information out here. There's so much. And what do I do? What is my purpose? Should I be doing this? Your main job is to be a creator. What is the next thing in my reality that I would like to create that would bring me joy, fulfillment, and satisfaction? That's how Source thinks. Source just wants to create. There's low vibrational creation. That's okay. We accept it. But ultimately, high vibrational creation is when you have sort of collapsed this whole game and now you go, okay, I'm self-realized. Now I just get to create things that I love. That's another facet of ascension. When you become self-realized and enlightened, meaning you simply know that you are source and everything is source, everybody is enlightened right here in this moment as we have this conversation. You can choose to be enlightened right now. I'm source and I know that everything is source. Okay, boom, done, enlightened. Doesn't have to be this long journey of this deep, dark shadow work. It can literally happen right now. Once that happens, the only thing that comes next is creating from this joy, from this completion, from this satisfaction, from this craving of just experiencing the best of what's possible and available. That is your purpose, to live a life that feels like that. That's it. All right, folks, we're out. I'm at my energetic capacity, but this was so fun. Wild ride, and I love you all immensely, and happy creating. Create the craziest, juiciest, most ridiculous life that you can while you are here, because one thing about the earth experience is that it doesn't last that long. So the galactics are here. They're like, yeah, we get to basically, we like never die, and it can go on and as long as we want it to go. But humans, you got a short window of opportunity here. So you really want to take advantage of this stuff. You really want to be waking up, truly enjoying this ride, because it's going to end fast. So much love and light to everybody. Blessings, blessings, blessings.